Hi, I'm Joshua Mendoza,
And I'm Megan Abundo.
and this is our DE2115 PS2 controlled synthesizer.
So our problem statement is that we will be using the DE2 board to create a piano that operates in real time. The board will interact with the PS2 keyboard and generate digital tones based on the input using digital signal manipulation.
Here are our objectives. Create a interface between the DE2115 and the PS2 keyboard, and depending on that PS2 keyboard input, output a specific digital signal to the audio line out.
So our initial design approach consisted of creating the hardware system in QSys and dividing up the two main functions, the PS2 interfacer and the audio interfacer, into two separate tasks. Eclipse was used to develop and compile the program, and versions were shared through GitHub. The work was split, with Joshua working mainly on the PS2 controller and myself working on the audio interface.
Here's our hardware. Involving the DE2115 board, we used a PS2 keyboard, we involved the audio codec, we used SD-RAM as our main storage, and some other PIOs such as the LED-Rs. Here are use connections. Again, we have all our necessary components. You can notice that for our audio solution, we chose to use an audio subsystem along with the PS2 controller.
So for our software, we use the Quartus Prime software and the QSys tool to create our hardware system. The HAL drivers to be able to interact with the hardware modules using C language. Eclipse to compile and load our program onto the board, and GitHub to upload our files as we developed our code as a means of version control between us.
Alright, cool. So here's our main loop of our program. First, we instantiate an audio device. Next, we instantiate our PS2 device and manually set the device type to PS2 keyboard. All of this stuff can be found in the system.h file. Inside our main while loop is where we set pschar, a global variable, to read directly into the PS2 base where the data is located. We then clear the FIFO of the PS2 and send it to a function called playNote. Here's an example of how the PS2 keyboard codes are sent. It is an 8-bit code that is sent for each key, and this character will be written into that pschar global variable.
So this is our play note function. So initially the audio control register is written to in order for the input and output first in first out registers to be cleared, and then afterwards a 0 is written to that register in order for it to stop the clearing function, and then the value of pschar, which is the input for the PS2 keyboard, is checked, and depending on the input it will write the sine wave values for the specific note to the left and right audio output registers. So this is the audio registers that were mentioned before. So the control register is used to enable and disable interrupts, and also clear the input-output FIFO registers, as I mentioned before. And the FIFO space register is used to, I guess, monitor how much space is left in the FIFO. And the left and right data registers are used to write values to the left and right FIFO registers that will output the audio to the board.
Here's a demonstration. So again, depending on what PS2 value is clicked, we'll send a certain value to the board. It'll also light up the LED-Rs. Okay. So we did run some issues. As you hear, there are some sampling issues. The audio is a little bit crackly. This might be due to some mistimings or maybe a mistiming of the registers. Again, some features that are blocked are the PS2 polyphony. The PS2 only sends in one note, so we can't do any chords or multiple notes. One big problem that we had was our QSys synthesis, where our custom system was not able to present sound onto the audio DAC, and we had to use a example system in order to get the system working. We've tried a lot of things to fix our system, such as changing the way that the connections are set up, or changing the way our modules and our exports, and recompiling and compiling, but we couldn't end up finding out what was wrong. But we were able to get a demo working by using an example key system. In conclusion, We were able to somewhat create a demo that was able to present different tones based on PS2 keyboard inputs. We had to create a system, but unfortunately it was not able to get working without an example program.
And that concludes our project. Thank you for your time.